And it kind of brings you back to my next point of even for some of your older guys that think, man, ain't nobody gonna listen to them young cats ain't gonna listen to me, dude. You and rightfully so. You may get about 5 or 10 of them that you go speak to, and out of that 10, one of them or two of them will take what you said, you know.
Mhm.
But if you've been able to have that impact on those one or two individuals, man, that's probably somebody's life you to say. And if you could say their life, what if that kid or that young fella had three brothers and two sisters? So by you making an impact in his life, now he then went back and made a shift that his younger brothers and sisters can be able to see it. So it's so big that it's like looking, man. It's like the blue ocean, right? You only can see what you can see, but you know the 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 work,
Vastness.
yeah, the
Yeah.
vastness of the blue ocean is
Mhm.
huge, and I look at it no difference from like the impact that you can have on people, man. And me going back to my point about your value and what you bring to the table, and kind of going back to what we talked about, what this topic is about is just not giving yourself that excuse to say, hey, man, it's just how I am. Um, I haven't had my coffee yet. I ain't this don't come bother me because I ain't ate yet. This ain't the right time. Just my challenge to you is and my challenge to myself, because when you said court right, we for me and you, for myself, is just constantly trying to work on um, that and just trying to make it to be consistent on working with it. And I truly feel when you're able to do that and be consistent with it, you will start to see change.
Welcome to the Eat Cypher. Flow harder than the hands on Peter Piper. And now we would like to introduce you to your rivals. It's like Ali and Tyson. The hook miss with the liking. Show nothing, Mr. Bison. Maximus and Leonidas. You were in the booth with Titans. Goons, goblins, and Vikings. It ain't really nothing like us.
Hey, we're back. We're back at it. Welcome back to another episode of the Lit Code. I'm Edgar Jones.
I'm Courtney Anderson.
Hey, if this is your first time checking us out, we want to thank you for taking the time to be here with us. If this is not your first time checking us out, we want to thank you for coming back and being willing to continue to work on yourself and being able to grow. Man, we want to thank y'all for the support. I mean, it's upon day and week upon week that we continue to keep growing. Um, the likes and the views on Facebook have been crazy. Even on YouTube, consistently getting people that's starting to follow us more and be engaged. And that's only possible with you guys, with y'all spreading the word, when y'all spreading the content and being able to share it with people. And honestly, y'all believing in what we're doing. So we thank y'all for everything. We appreciate y'all. Looking forward to keep giving y'all some more content. Looking forward to bringing some more individuals on that can be able to share their experience and give y'all something else to think about as well.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all as always. Every single viewer, if you viewed us for 5 minutes or the whole hour, we appreciate that. Facebook, uh, that's our foundation. So I mean, I know how to market it. It's getting a lot of traction. We got to do a better job. Uh, I got to do a better job of marketing on other platforms and getting y'all kind of pushed over to YouTube, growing our presence on there. I did create our TikTok. It'll be just like everything else. It'll be the Lit Code at TikTok. We'll start dropping content on there pretty soon. Edgar's been firing off truck talks. I've been still putting breakfast out. The content's gonna be there, man. We don't just do this for y'all, man. It's something that's therapeutic for us. We feel like we're moving on a gift, so we'll keep putting it out there. And we thank each and every one of y'all that decide to take it in. Spotify does well too. Like I noticed by using Simplecast, it gives you a running number of downloads. And we went to hundreds and hundreds of downloads. So that means people are taking it in on those other platforms too. So we thank y'all. However y'all listen to it, however y'all take it in. If you take it in and want to give feedback, we appreciate that. If you don't, we appreciate you anyway, man. Just hopefully we say something that'll stick with you and you take it and grow from it, man. So we appreciate y'all as always.
As always, man. I just want to start off by saying this. Um, man, I think it's important in life that you always trying to find a way to laugh and find something. There's a bunch of funny stuff that's going on out here.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of funny people out in this world, man. There's some things that can keep you giggling and probably crying from laughter. But man, I just want to just say, man, find a way to smile and find a way to laugh, whether that's you talking to one of your good friends and you got that friend that you can only stand there for about 10 minutes because they're making you laugh that hard, or you think about a funny story or something funny that happened to you that you experienced. And since we talking about funny stories and funny experience, I'm gonna share a story with y'all. All right. So tune your ears in, gents and ladies. Let me tell you about a funny story. Man, this was a couple years ago. This was when I was playing the league, and I got out of practice, and I wanted to get me something to eat. And back in the day, I used to eat Taco Bell quite a bit. You know, man, I like Taco Bell, and I ain't gonna talk about what type of grade meat I think that is, but I was fully engaged at Taco Bell. So I pull up to the drive-through, and as I pull up to the drive-through, a girl is on the intercom. She said, "Hey, welcome to Taco Bell, man. I'll take your order." And I was like, "Yeah, give me 5 hard shell tacos with lettuce and cheese." And there was a pause for a second. And she said, "Could you repeat that again?" I was like, "Yeah, give me 4 hard shell tacos with lettuce and cheese." And there was another about 2-second pause. And all of a sudden, somebody said, "You don't want no meat?" He's like, "You don't want no meat?" I was like, "Yeah, I want some meat, bro. My taco shell." "Oh, I was just asking. You just said you want lettuce and cheese." I was like, "Yeah, man." So I drive through to the drive-up window, and as I drive up to the drive-up window, now I'm looking to meet this character I just met because I feel like he's a character off a cartoon show or something. And he never appeared. He never showed up. And the chick took my card, uh, swiped my card. You know what I'm saying? Gave my receipt back. Then I moved up to the next window, got my food, and then drove off eating my taco shells. Eat my tacos down the road. But man, I will never forget that story, man. Just, "You don't want no meat?"
Yeah, man. I told you before. That's one of the first 4 things I probably do in the day. But when I get in the truck and I'm heading to the office,
Yeah.
like the first thing I do is either Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy or Bernie Mac. Well, I just look up a clip, right? So I can start my day off by laughing. It's kind of like when you wake up in the morning and you get ready to attack your day. It's almost like, everything's streamed now on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go on TV, if you go to Stars, let's say you go to Stars and you go to movies, right? It's gonna pop you a list of genres out. You can watch horror, drama, documentary, comedy, uh, epic movie, whatever you want to watch, action. It gives you those options, right? And I like to think we got the same damn options. We get up every day on how our day gonna go, right? You start it off. Most of the time you all alone before you get any call from anybody, any news. You can decide, hey man, I'm gonna start off laughing. It's gonna brighten my day up starting out, and then whatever come my way today, man, I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna have a good day today.
Yeah.
You get to choose what genre you gonna pick when you get your ass up in the morning, and how you gonna start your day, man. So I you know me, man. I find humor in anything. I'm the cat that you don't sit beside even at a funeral because like we gonna laugh. It's happening because I don't like to be down. So that's how I choose to start my day, man, with something funny. So it's interesting that you made that point, man, because it's good to laugh. It's great to laugh. I don't want to nerd out on you, but when you laugh, your body releases certain hormones and endorphins that actually make you feel good. So it's good to laugh. Yeah. Laugh a little, man. Laugh a little.
Laugh a little, man. So Man, Court, yeah, we're going into a very kind of shift for a little bit and go into our topic and what we're talking about.
Mhm.
I brought this to your attention because I sat here and I thought about this for a while, and I've been sitting on it for a little bit and brought it to your attention. And today we wanted to talk about, and maybe this should be the title. Uh, that's just how I am, or I ain't had my coffee yet. Or I'm pretty sure y'all can relate to this. I ain't ate yet. Don't come up and mess with me.
Yeah.
So I'll start off by giving really my personal experience, and this has been something that I've had to work on, and I really have paid attention to it over time because um, when I'm hungry and I haven't eaten, that's probably not the best time to have a serious conversation with me or really be bringing really anything to me because I feel like if I haven't eaten yet, it puts me in a state of probably being hangry,
Yeah.
and I think probably a lot of people deal with it. I've had a couple friends that they can be hungry and they can still be fully engaged and handle the situation the right way and not have that hangry mode activate and kick in. But that's one of a couple things that I've have dealt with. But I go back to man, I'm hungry. And when you think about um the times you've handled a situation, I think about the times I've handled a situation and I said, oh, I ain't ate yet, so don't come over here talking to me. Or when you hear people usually say, I ain't had my coffee yet. This ain't the time yet. Don't come into my office. I ain't had my coffee yet.
Yeah.
Um, or man, the list really goes on and on and on. Or that's just how I am. Oh, that's just how I was raised. It's nobody's exempt from that. I think everybody struggles with that to a degree. Whether it's I ain't had my coffee yet, that's just how I was raised, or I ain't ate yet. But when I look at it and I start to sit back and look at the situation, pretty much what you're doing is you're giving yourself a pass to be a butthole. You know what I'm saying? Like you're giving yourself a pass to just respond however you feel, to that situation. And the danger of that is, I think there's a couple of different dangers with it, but one of the dangers I look at it as is you just don't know at that moment in time what that person is bringing to you and the impact that you can have on them by your response. You know, now I think over time it's important that you continue to keep recognizing just how you're engaging with people, but you just don't know at that moment in time what that person is bringing to you and how serious that conversation and what they need to say to you, and how your response can be something that can make their day, or your response can be something that can end up being something that ruins their day. You know what I'm saying? And I'll say this, and I kind of pass this to you. If if you truly continue to try to change and work on yourself, which I'm assuming that if you listen to this right now, that's what you're trying to do, man. I think we can no longer continue to give ourselves that pass to say, well, man, I ain't had my coffee yet, so don't come here to talk to me right now. You know,
Yeah.
uh, rather than saying, you know what, I haven't had my coffee yet, but I'm gonna try to push through this, and I'm gonna see how well I can handle the situation without that food or without that drink. Um, and if you're not trying to change, then that's okay. I mean, if you just don't want to work on changing, that's okay. But I feel like if you're here with us right now, you're trying to change, and you are changing. Actually, I'm gonna say that you are changing because I'm assuming after everything you've been listening to, there's been one or two things that you have tried to work on yourself, and I know that because I've had people reach out to me and say, "Hey, man, I thank you for this," and I've tried to now apply this to my life. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is that's just how I am, or I
Yeah.
haven't had my coffee yet, or that's just how I grew up.
Yeah.
And if with this, don't feel bad because we all deal with it. I speak for me and Court right now. That's stuff we battle with and have to still be conscious and aware of as we continue to go through this life. But I think that's something that's definitely probably not talked a lot about.
No, it's big, and it's an everyday battle with anybody, any person. I mean, I've never been a morning person, right? But I've had certain jobs where I'm the morning supervisor, so everybody got to see me first, right? They got to see me and talk to me first, and I'm gonna give you the game plan for the day. I'm gonna set the tone for the day.
Yeah.
So I ain't a morning person. Don't give me an excuse to be dragging around and acting like I don't want to be here, because we're infectious people, right? And energy is real. You can walk into a room and tell when somebody's been fighting or arguing or talking about you. You can actually feel that. So if you're off and you feeling a certain type of way, that can infect others. To keeping it to the context, in context with some of the stuff we've talked about before, we had the kryptonite episode. We talked about certain walls we built up or these certain super us's that we built up as defense mechanisms to survive trauma as youth, right? And we grow up and this starts to become detrimental to us. We talked about planting seeds and watering seeds. We talked about affirmations before. Basically, those kind of excuses you make, that's an excuse for that person, that other person, to keep thriving. It gives them something to hold on to. Gives that other you, that lazy you, that mean you, that you trying to evolve from. It gives him a foothold, right? Him or her. It gives them a foothold to sink their heels in and actually start to thrive a little bit off of never giving them a reason to go away, really. Because you're telling them, hey, it's okay for you to survive, man, because that's just how I am. That's just what I do. Right. And it's like watering those weed seeds that I talked about in the last episode. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't really need much help. So you don't want to start watering that side and giving it a reason to thrive. They actually hold you back from succeeding in anything, right? Man, I make enough money now. We cool, we good. We talked about comfort before, how comfort can lead to being idle. Idleness is a cancer of success at times, right? You start to tell yourself these things. It's no different from an affirmation saying, like I said a few minutes ago, I'm gonna have a good day today. That's an affirmation, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't like Mondays. It's another affirmation. You just planted a seed, but it wasn't a good one. So now, Sunday night, we starting to grow in a way. Why? Because it's Monday tomorrow, and I got to go to work. So you already you setting yourself up for failure before it even start, just by saying these little simple things like, "Oh, I ain't a Monday, I don't like Mondays." You're already setting yourself up for it. Right now. You meet a little adversity on that Monday. Well, you just pour gas on the fire now. Now it's a wildfire. Now your whole day is getting out of hand. Yeah. You had a bad Monday. Guess what Tuesday probably gonna be like, right? Because you're gonna carry Monday on over into Monday night, Tuesday morning. Man, I sure hope I don't have a day like I had yesterday.
Yeah.
Boom. Now you had a bad week. Your bad week, it turned to a bad month turned to a bad year. You just having a bad go at it now. You know what I'm saying? All because it seems simple, right? But if you're gonna be in a relationship, if you're gonna be in business, like that excuse can't exist. Yeah. You can't just say that's the way I am. You and I grew up in an era, in a culture where it was it was cool to have as many women as you can have, right? And part of us like that a lot, right? We married men now, family men. How you think that'll go with our wives? You know, she come home and I got two girls sitting on the couch, and I'm like, baby, that's just how I am. It ain't gonna work. It don't fly. And that's an extreme, but it's the exact same thing. If you're trying to evolve, you're trying to do anything. If you're trying to save up enough money to do something else, but you like to eat out every week, right? And you spending $200-300 eating out every week. We just like to eat out. Well, you ain't gonna put a Band-Aid on it. It's you won't be able to save that extra $200-300 or the extra $100 or me, for instance, right? Hypertension runs in our family, right? My other side, we're big people. That's genetics. That's hereditary. But I know I got to work out and try to do something to offset some of these health risks that go along in life.
Yeah.
You know how many people have died, have really just eating themselves to death because they like, well, just a big dude. It's just genetics, man. It's going, we got to go one day. You know what I'm saying? That's that kind of excuse. If you start putting that in your mind, you're giving yourself an excuse to stay lazy, to stay stagnant. You don't want to do that, man. So be careful what you're telling yourself. That's basically what it boils down to. When you're doing something that you know you're trying to change, and you tell yourself it's just me, you give yourself an excuse, like you said, to be a butthole, but you give yourself an excuse to stay in that place. And that's not what we're about at all. We want to evolve daily. So don't go against the grain, man. You know, if it's something you know you need to change, it leads to one of our favorite words, which is accountability. Hold yourself accountable, check yourself, and then make the necessary changes.
Yeah, and as you're making those necessary changes too, um, give yourself a little bit of a slack and pat on your back, and understand that progression um, sometimes at its best can be slow. You know, uh, you not feeling like it's something that has to be changed overnight, but going back to saying, what's the one thing I want to work on to try to address being better at this place that I'm at in my life, and understand it just takes time. Because I look at it like this: if you created a habit, or if you've for most of your life, if you've always said that that's just how I am, that's just how I am, it's just what I do, that's just how I was raised. Anytime you're breaking that habit, um, man, it's like one of them big old oak trees, dude, with the deep roots. You know, when you breaking a tree down that's that size, like an oak tree, or a big old pecan tree, man, them roots cut deep. So and the only way to be able to fully get rid of that tree is to remove the roots.
Mm-hmm.
So really getting to the root of what that is, and and asking yourself that question: well, why do I do that? Why do I do that? And as you start to ask that question to me, that's when you really start to prune away those roots and really start to make the change. But understand that progress is something that just takes time, and it's a slow progress, because you've had a habit of doing whatever that is for such a long period of time. But it's and I think the other part with this, man, is I want everybody listen to me when I say this, man. Listen to me. I want everybody to understand that you truly have value, that every single person has value. And I think, no, I know it's very different compared to back in the day, when our parents was growing up, what our grandparents was growing up. But I'm gonna tell you why, and the impact that you have on people now these days, because technology and cell phones. You look at it back in the day, like our grandparents or our mama and daddy, that circle and that network was very, very small. They saw their cousins, they saw their sisters and their brothers, and pretty much for the most part, everybody that they had contact with was probably in a radius of 2 miles, if less than that. They stayed
Mm-hmm.
right down the street. Cousins stayed right down the street. I stayed right down the street. My granddad had stayed, a block over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy access to get to that small network of people. So the impact that they can have on a large group of people was different compared to our day and age, and due to technology. And then technology has definitely had its pros to it. It's also had its cons to it as well. It's just depending on how you look at it and how you use it. But you think about stuff that you post up now on social media, right? And let's say I'll just start with Facebook, and you probably can go on Instagram. Most people have a couple hundred followers, all right?
Yeah.
At least, let's just say on the low end, 500 followers, right? Um, and think about the 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 impact that you can have on those 500 people. If let's say out of that 500 people, 250 people fully engage with you, right? So let's say those 250 people fully engaged out of your 500 friends. Those 250 people really watch everything you do on social media. Now, by the things that you said, the things that you post up, and the things that you do, understanding that they may not say anything to you about it, but I bet and I guarantee there's something that you said or done or posted up that's had an impact on them. Now, out of that 250 that you had an impact on, what if that 250 had an impact on 10,000 people? You know, out of that 250, each person had, 1,000 friends. I don't know what that number comes out to or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that's a lot of people. I tell you that. And out of that 250, they had an impact on thousands of thousands of people. And out of that thousands of people, they had an impact on 1 million people. You get what I'm saying? That's really how fast stuff can spread, and the impact that you can have on an individual, and based off you having an impact on that individual, that impact. I used to have this mentor who always tell me, um, he used to always say, because y'all used to always say, man, I want to go out and impact 1,000 people, man. And he was like, well, what if you just thought about going to impact 2 people, and those 2 people impact 500 people? You know what I'm saying? And then those
Mm-hmm.
500 people impact, 20,000 people. That's the power that we all have, with our words, and the power of the tongue, man, and the things that we say to people, and things we do. And sometimes, man, it can be challenging. Sometimes we mess up. We human beings, dude. That's what happens. But understanding the ripple effect, literally, when you throw that stone in that pond, the ripple effect of how those ripples move out. And the crazy thing about it, sometimes you can't even see those ripples and how they expand out. You can't even see what that stone is doing when it's going down. What you told me, where you can't see what that stone is doing once it goes down in the
You don't
doggone
see
water.
you don't see the turtle that hitting the head
Yeah, you don't see the
under
turtle,
a foot under.
the
You
foot
just get
under.
surface effect. That's all you see.
You get the surface effect, man, and truly, um, understanding, man. We got to stop walking around thinking that, don't nobody care. That's BS, man. Since somebody cares, somebody paying attention, and we got to stop walking around thinking that we don't bring something of value, of substance, to this world, bro, and to this life that we in. You know,
Yeah.
all I know is right now and right here, and you got to understand that if you still got breath in your lungs, dude, you bring something that has a lot of capacity to it, to the space that you in. And I think the
Yeah.
more we start to realize that, I think what can start to happen is you start to be a little bit more conscious and aware of maybe some decisions of saying, maybe I shouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should say something, you know.
Mhm.
But that just has to be in with the new and old with the out of, I don't have value.
Yeah.
Don't nobody care. It don't matter. Everything matters, man. I tell you what, if it don't matter, stop breathing and tell me what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything matters, man. Everything matters. From how you start your morning to what you just said, what I'm engaged with in the morning, to how I'm going about through this life, speaking, engaging with people, how I'm handling certain situations. It all has something of meaning to it. And sometimes you may not even fully understand what it is all about. So go ahead, my brother, because I know you're ready to chime in. It's like hopscotch. You ready to
Yeah, double dutch.
double dutch? Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
double dutch.
some
My
jump in
bad.
there,
Yeah.
keep on going. But that scenario you mentioned earlier about uh you impacting 500 people and that 500 impacting another 2,000, and that 2,000 turned into 1,000,000 is what we call going viral, right? Uh, one thing we know about stuff that goes viral is the bad shit always goes viral way quicker than good stuff does. Good
Yeah.
stuff takes, you got to keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it. And then the good stuff, it'll slowly start to go viral, right? Man, you got to keep pushing the lit code. I guarantee if I fly to Dallas tomorrow, we tell JW, take his camera. We stage an argument, me and you fist fight. You slap me, knock me out. I guarantee you to get 1,000,000 views way, way before all the lit code episodes put together, right? Because that's a weed seed. Like I said, weeds don't need much help. It's gone. It's gonna go viral quick. These conversations we having about life building, I don't really want that. That ain't exciting. right? That ain't really what we want. But we just like a computer, right? We just like social media. Giving fuel to our bad habits, make them go viral in our life, right? They'll go viral easy.
Yeah.
It's taking years of experience for us to get to this point to where we can abstain from certain stuff that we know are triggers for us to make us go back to that bad side. But one sip though, one taste of that bad side, it'll derail everything we've been building all this time. It'll go viral like that, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. Make no mistake about it. Edgar saying we talking about the Black community right now. Talking about us as a people, realizing that we have value because that habit of us devaluing each other, it went viral a long time ago. And now we're at the point where us killing each other is cool. He a shooter. I guarantee you when they say he a shooter, they ain't talking about him going to fight no war overseas. He ain't going over there to the white people's neighborhood. We talking about him being a shooter on his block to the cats on the next street. He'll walk them down and shoot for what? We don't really know. It don't really matter. It's just cool now for us to kill each other, right? It's cool for you to do something that's gonna take you off the streets forever. You're going to jail for life, right? Most of the time when this happens, the victim and the assailant both have kids, right? Now, what's gone? Black man, jail, grave. Who raising the kids, right? This whole cycle that I'm talking about right now has been going viral for a minute, right? And then if mama and grandma stuck to raise the kids, the sons especially, right? And he don't have that male influence in his life, well, he gonna grow up to be an emotional male who's probably quick to act on emotions, which can be a very bad thing in itself, right? So if he's growing up and he's watching these videos and listening to his music where it's saying, hey man, anybody disrespect you, they make you feel played, walk him down. You know what I'm saying? Take him out. He gotta go. If it's an emotional male that's been listening to that and he think that's cool, that habit that went viral, what you think he gonna do when he faced with this situation? All right. It's been glorified. we glorify people who are quote unquote the shooters now. That's a viral habit that became cool viral. That was fed to us, and we've been habitually doing it for the longest. And that's the extreme. It's not just about killing. It's also about, I used to hear it all the time. Hey man, they ain't gonna let you be no this or that. Like, you black, right? You'll start telling yourself that, hey man, I can't do that. I got what most of our kids think, what they think the options. I'm gonna rap to get some real money. I'm gonna rap, I'm gonna sell drugs, or I gotta go to the league of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Been out of the league a while now, right? Probably still get a little money from the league, but gotta find other sources of income outside of that. That window's that big, and then that's over, right? Problem is nobody's teaching us how to manage money on the way up. So you got to take some lumps first, before you can understand how to keep yours, right? But what's cool to do? What have we been habitually taught to do if you get money? We'll buy a lot of designer, do a lot of drugs, mess with a lot of women, throw it in strip clubs. Yeah. All this is habitual stuff. It's been fed to us, and we made it a habit because somebody told us, oh, these the cool guys that got all the money. It's what they do. And then some of us that don't have as much money, we try to keep up with that, right? Because you're telling yourself, if I get me some money, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. This is what you're supposed to do when you have money, but you're telling yourself that this is how I'm supposed to go get all the Gucci and stuff I can get. Because you're telling yourself that, right? Mm-hmm. Just like you telling yourself, hey, I ain't no more. That's just how I am, man. College ain't for me. I'm from the hood. Right? It's the same stuff we talking about. I'm not a more person. Yeah. That's how dangerous this can get, right? That's how it's really been an invisible chain on our people for a while. because somebody told us that, and I always like to say the most powerful thing in the world is belief, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Say that
Give or
again,
take
bro.
what you believe, which don't matter what you believe about the World Trade Centers, right? But the story they gave us was that some cats who practice a certain religion believed that they committed suicide by driving those flying planes into the World Trade Centers, that they were gonna get mansions in heaven. Right? Hitler got a whole nation of people wiped out off a belief system. Right? He believed that if you didn't look blonde hair, blue eyes, you weren't pure blooded, right? They needed to be killed, genocide. How Hitler looked. One blonde hair and blue eyed at all, was it?
At all.
But he made them believe that that was the way it's supposed to be. Any religion is based on belief. And if you believe it enough, even our favorite religion over here with our ancestors was used against them, right? To believe that they were serving an earthly master that represented who the heavenly master was. And if they didn't serve him as they would him, then they were going to hell, right? Belief. So if somebody tells you something and you make a habit of telling it to yourself, eventually you're going to believe it. And if you believe it, it ain't nothing me ever can say. If you believe that you're worthless, you believe your brother worthless, it ain't much we can say to make you think otherwise if that's your belief system, until you make a habit of believing otherwise, right? So basically what we started with is just me. That's just how I was raised. That's where I'm from. If it's something bad that you got from it, because we were raised on some good values, right?
Yeah.
That we hold to. But again, you get to pick every day. You get to choose the genre, right? We'll make it simple, good, bad, right? We won't break it down to as many genres you have on the movie channel. We're going to call it good and bad, right? So you call it whatever you want to, God, devil, good, evil. Well, you get to pick, right? And hopefully you're making a habit of picking the good more so than the bad. But what you tell yourself is more powerful than what anybody else tell you. What you decide to believe about yourself and affirm to yourself, that's the powerful stuff. And if you're telling yourself, well, man, it's all right if I keep slacking up and hitting this bottle, because just my daddy used to drink heavy. His daddy drunk heavy. That's just part of what I do. I'm just gonna drink heavy. Meanwhile, your whole life falling apart on the other side because you drinking heavy, but you keep telling yourself, that's just how I am. And you believe it, right? You could be anything you want to be. I've seen people do stupid stuff because of their last name, right? I'm a Johnson. So my people was fighters and shooters, and they did this and ran the street. So I got to do this and run the street.
Right.
Somebody set that tone back in the day, but you really, especially today, in this day and age, you got the power to make your last name mean whatever you want it to mean. Whether it's going to Lee, whether it's going to be a doctor, dentist, whatever, right? You got that choice, but it's all about what you start telling yourself. It's all about what you choose to tell yourself every day, what you make a habit of telling yourself, and what you eventually start believing. It's going to really set the tone for your life. You
Yeah. What he said. Yeah, man. That's I don't know, man. I don't know. He could drop the mic right now and just walk out. I got a question to ask you then. So kind of digressing and going back for a second, you mentioned that I guess humans we like seeing like you mentioned the viral thing, right? As humans, we like seeing drama before we like seeing stuff that that's something that's positive, right? Like we'll rather post something up with somebody fighting and a chick or a girl or a dude getting beat up before we post something up with somebody giving some words of encouragement. Why is that?
It feels good to feed the beast, right? This is historical. and I won't nerd out too much, but you think about the Coliseum.
Nerd out, bro. Nerd out. Nerd out.
Think about the Coliseum, right? in Rome, right? The Coliseum flooded out to see what? Blood and gore.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to see. The more they had, the more crowds packed in. It always has been something that sold. We like to see a good boxing match.
Yeah.
The country people like dog fights, the hunt, the thrill of the hunt. Two sides of us exist. It's we bipolar, right? Again, it don't take much. Weeds don't need much to grow. That beast inside of you, again, sometimes it's needed. But if you feed it, Audrey too, right? It can take over way quicker than their good side can.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about it last week. If you're a corn farmer, right? I guarantee you weeds will start popping up before you see an ear of corn shoot up. You gotta do all kind of stuff for that ear of corn to shoot up, right? You gotta plant this on the row system. We gotta run our irrigation. They gotta be a certain amount of space between them, right? You plant the seed a certain depth. You gotta do all this stuff. The weeds growing before you touch it, for any that the weeds already sprouting, right? You gotta actually do work to keep the weeds from taking over. Our ancestors was at the hoeing cotton first before they picked it because the weeds were just trying to come up and take over.
Yeah.
Right? Boll weevils started to take over. You had to start spraying insecticides and stuff. The bad stuff always, it's easy for it. The darkness can always overtake, right? Bad can always overtake. That's just historic. That's just part of our nature. But we know life's about balance. And we know the ramifications of that beast taking over your life. Especially, like our boy Nazon would say, special when it comes to the black male, right? Yeah. They already painted a picture of us being some kind of beast and savages, right? And somewhere along the line, we started believing it, but we only savages towards each other, right? But then media shines light on that. Every time we do something to each other, they shine light on it. And if you allow that beast in you to take over, what we see, right? You see cats kneeling on your neck for extended periods of time. You know what I'm saying? We see you getting gunned down. We see you wearing that orange jumpsuit for what they call now. They call them alphabet numbers. They giving you years, buddy. Like you gone. They 17. You got our first cousin that had a lot to do with the way we came up and acted and playing sports and fighting or whatever we was doing, raising dogs, all that, right? They took our cousin off the street one night, one bad decision. Now, he did a lot of little stuff leading up to, but that one night at 19 years old made to where we didn't see him again free till 36? Right?
Yeah.
They'll throw you away for being a beast. But they telling you, the people they give money to and tell them to sing to you and talk to you, that don't do none of that no more because they rapping. Well, the young ones, they actually doing it now. They actually killing each other right down on camera. Yeah. Now, but when our people, when we was coming up, a lot of them cats had been left their life alone, was telling us this the cool stuff to do. But I watched the 50 Cent interview back when 50 was on top. Mm-hmm. In the club was out. 50 said right down the interview and said, "Man, I don't drink and smoke. Like when I'm in the club, I'm focused on what our next move is. We're not in the streets no more. We got to do this, got to do that. But the music saying otherwise, and we believe in it, right? Yeah, he already made it. The people paying him, telling him to give you a message to make you think this how you got to be, and they trick millions of people, millions of black males, right on off the streets, right on to the grave, right on to the penitentiary, right? Off of making you believe something. You telling you, I'm like, man, I ain't gonna wear, I'm wearing red. They don't wear that color on my block. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, buddy. Funeral after funeral, court case after court case. And now we're in this position, right? And a lot of the kids who were raised in their fathers' homes are now adults trying to figure it out. A lot of them figured out they got tricked, but now they got a record. They lost some friends, right? They trying to tell the young cats, but the young cats don't know this new cat, right? They remember the cat they saw when he was on the streets putting work in.
Yeah.
He was being that beast. So now you trying to tell me, hey, that ain't the way to go. Well, yeah, that's the way you was going. That's what I saw you do. I thought you'd be proud. You know what I'm saying? That's the cycle we caught up in right now. And a lot of it is based on people taking advantage of what we like, what one side of us does like. We like that going stuff.
Yeah.
Your truck talk this week was about Chick-fil-A controlling their readiness.
Yeah.
They understand that we like what? Convenience. So we're gonna make this as convenient as we can make it for you, so you can keep bringing us your money, right? we're gonna appeal to the other side of y'all, so y'all can keep killing each other and going to jail. So you keep making kids being raised up in these fatherless homes, so we can manipulate their minds to do what we want them to do, right? And that's the sad truth. So if you know better, you start doing better. Start telling yourself better things. Don't tell yourself, hey man, that's where I'm from. I'm a Johnson. That's my last name. We do this. Now, if you know better, do something else. You got the power to change that, man. So don't give that side of you an excuse to thrive and to take control over your life.
Man, and then well said, brother. Well said, bro. And then too, I go back to the ripple effect part of it. Think about the impact that you can have on your kids, man, or your nephew, or your cousin, or your aunt. You know what I'm saying? Your uncle, your parents, or hell, your neighbor. You just don't know the impact that you'll have on somebody else, and especially, man, Jay-Z and Kanye got this song, this album called "Watch the Throne." It's a song called "New Day." And Jay-Z's rapping to, at that time, Jay-Z didn't have a son yet. He didn't have a child yet. And he's rapping about what he would say. To basically his son when he got of age.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think I read it to you before, but he basically said, my only job is cut the time in half, to cut the time in half and to give my kid what I've learned and my mistakes, and hopefully through what I've taught them. Now, we obviously know sometimes you be talking to your kids, they go through one ear, not the other.
Yeah.
But maybe, hopefully, my prayer is that one or two things will stick to that child, and that they could be able to not go out there and make that same mistake, and you can cut that time in half. And it kind of brings you back to my next point of even for some of your older guys that think, man, ain't nobody gonna listen to them young cats, ain't gonna listen to me. Dude, you and rightfully so, you may get about 5 or 10 of them that you go speak to, and out of that 10, one of them or two of them take what you said, you know. But if you've been able to have an impact on those one or two individuals, man, that's probably somebody's life you to save. And if you could save their life, what if that kid or that young fella had 3 brothers and 2 sisters? So by you making an impact in his life, now he done went back and made a shift that his younger brothers and sisters can be able to see it. So it's so big that it's like looking, man. It's like the blue ocean, right? You only can see what you can see, but you know the
Vastness.
the vastness of the blue ocean is
Mhm.
huge. And I look at it no difference from like the impact that you can have on people, man. And me going back to my point about your value and what you bring to the table, and kind of going back to we talked about what this topic is about is just not giving yourself that excuse to say, hey man, it's just how I am. Um, I haven't had my coffee yet. I ain't this don't come bother me because I ain't ate yet. This ain't the right time. Just my challenge to you is and my challenge to myself, because when you said court right, for me and you, for myself, is just constantly trying to work on that, and just trying to make it to be consistent on working with it. And I truly feel when you're able to do that and be consistent with it, you will start to see change over time. You know,
Yeah.
it just the greatness and the beauty of anything that has value of substance to it. It just don't happen overnight, man. It
Yeah.
just won't. And the other part of it is that the patterns and the habits that we've created for so long, sometimes not even knowing it,
Yeah.
due to so many other different reasons.
Yeah.
But when you start to get that thing up and going and start to really keep working on being consistent, man, the shift and the change you'll see in your life.
Yeah. Man, life, God, the universe is not impartial to it. It don't show no favoritism. We may think it does, but it don't. Right? You dealt the hand you dealt. Right? Don't let that be an excuse. Don't let past traumas, and that could be poverty, that could be abuse, that could be the environment you grew up in, the way your parents talked to you, the way a teacher treated you, whatever. Right? People picking on you, bullying you. Don't allow that excuse to hold you back and hold your best life away from you, to hold it hostage. Right? Don't let that be an excuse. Because you always got to remember, man, somebody took less than what you had and did more with it. Right?
Yeah.
No matter how bad, I'm not saying dismiss your trauma at all, but no matter how bad you think your story is, it's somebody around the corner that'll trade places with you in a heartbeat. Right? Like instantly, no brain or no question. As bad as you think it is. And a lot of times, those somebodies who had the worst conditions and they had the worst lives coming up,
Mm-hmm.
they grew up to do more with it, right? Somewhere along the line, they had to have a one-on-one with self and say, "Hey, man, that happened when it wasn't in my control when I was younger. I won't let it define me and keep me down now." Guarantee you, they constantly battle it every day. That I won't let it creep up and tear down what I built now, right? So a lot of people from impoverished neighborhoods, from one-parent homes, from no-parent homes. It's a lot of people from the shelter system that are millionaires now, right? A lot of people. You personally know a guy who grew up kind of rough and is a millionaire right now. That you know what I'm saying, pulled himself
Yeah.
on up and made a way, right? And I'm sure he has demons he has to face every day to try to keep that side at bay so he can keep thriving, right? That's a battle. Everybody's gonna have an internal battle. Everybody. I don't care who you are, how successful you become. It's gonna be an internal battle there. Don't let it. That's just the way I am. That's just what I do. Don't let that hold you back, because it will, but it'll all be your fault, especially as an adult. Once you hit a certain age, man, you really control your reaction to every single thing, right? Some kids in situations they can't get out of yet, right? They don't have the power to get out of it yet. Once they do and they grow up into adulthood, it's still some stuff they're gonna have to battle, but they got to make that decision every day. They got to choose that genre every morning, every day. What side am I gonna feed?
Yeah.
The reason it's so dangerous to feed the bad side is because part of you loves that naturally. Yin and yang. It's two sides. That part of you definitely exists, right? Part of you likes it. Part of you likes bad stuff. It's a part of every one of us that love the robber. When you see cops and robber movies, part of us kind of like the cop. It's a big part of us like the robber a little more,
Yeah.
right? we like that side of things a little more. That's just natural. That exists. You can't feed it though. You feed it too much and it takes over. It'll lead you down a detrimental path, man. So don't give it a foothold. Don't give it a reason to exist. Of course, all this is easier said than done, but it's doable. Take the first step. Longest journey in life starts with one step.
Yeah.
We habitual creatures. If you're gonna go on the diet, the biggest part of a diet ain't what you eating. It's telling yourself, nah, I ain't gonna order that. It's fighting a craving, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is, fighting a craving. Your bad side craves to get out. You gotta keep it at bay. The lazy you, right? When it's time for you to get up in the morning and work out, lazy you pass by the mirror and like, hey man, hey, you know, see, I'm all right. We ain't really gotta do this. Like,
Yeah.
you pretty blessed. We cool. But the other you like, nah, if we're gonna keep this going, I want this to still be happening when I'm 60, 70, then we got work to do for the future. So when you're making these habits, you're making these decisions, telling yourself this stuff, don't think about today, think about the future, think about your kids, think about where you're trying to go. Think about what you're trying to evolve into, man, and don't hold yourself back. Don't give you that other you a reason. Don't feed them. Don't water those weed seeds.
Yeah. Well said again, brother. Well, I close out with saying this. Until you start to ask yourself questions, you won't search for answers.
Yeah.
Until you start to ask yourself questions and asking yourself those questions, you won't search for no answers, man. And it's taken me a long time to truly get to a point of really starting to ask myself questions. And the thing about them questions, sometimes them questions reveal and gave me some dark stuff I didn't want to see. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I don't want to deal with that. That hurt.
Yeah.
That's painful. But until you start to ask yourself questions, you won't search for answers. And I want y'all to start asking yourself questions. And through that searching, I think you'll be able to get a lot of answers to some things and get some closure to a lot of things you've been battling and probably dealing with.
Yeah. And if it's anything I can add to that is, it's a simple question you can start with, right? If you want to, we're talking about habits, right? Either you can spell it out or it can be one letter, why, with a question mark behind it. If you ask yourself that and really sit and think about it, that's your best start. The best start is why, right? Why leads you into what I got to do about it. But first, you got to figure out the why. So just ask yourself, man, before you run off at the mouth, somebody made you mad, before you get that little text, somebody tell you something that you don't quite agree with, you done something that you shouldn't have done. First thing you need to do is take your little breath and just say, hey man, why why did I do that? Why did they send me that like that? Then that'll lead to how should I respond? But just start thinking, man. That's all I want you to do. I want you to be lit. That's it. That's all. Illuminate yourself in thought, man.
Illuminate in thought. Well, with that being said, this is the Lit Code. Man, we out of here. Thank y'all again for checking us out. Yeah, I'm Edgar Jones.
I'm Courtney Anderson. We out.